So, okay, now that we're fully caught up with manga, are we?
You didn't read Kawaii.
No, don't just shut up.
So we can't
Shut
talk
up.
about that.
Who do you want to fight? Genius or, what's it called? Oh my god, Metal Knight or Genius?
Shut up,
Oh,
Dawson.
Kid Genius? Or whatever his
No,
face is?
Genius, like,
The guy who cloned himself.
episode 2.
What?
Episode 2, Genius. Mosquito Girl, Beetle, infinite clones of himself.
Oh, those guys?
Yeah. Because he was seen as, like, almost as powerful as Monster Association or something.
Yeah.
Like, just because he had... Well,
I don't know.
almost as powerful, meaning, like, he had one member who could have, like, who was a dragon.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Metal Knight could win. They keep calling him, like, super
I'm
powerful.
pretty sure Metal Knight could win. Yeah, I think he could.
Can't wait for Mecha Boros.
Because the only problem Genos had was against, what's it called? Whatever its name is. Beetle dude?
I still, like, thoroughly believe we're going to see Boros again because of
Almost
Metal
definitely.
Knight. Because, literally, you have Boros' corpse just laying out there, and you have Metal Knight taking everything from the base. Do you
Yeah.
really think he's not going to use Boros' corpse for
No,
something?
he most definitely is.
Anyway, so we're not done talking about manga.
Oh, so
Oh, I read that sweet, in terms of manga that I've read,
Oh, yeah.
I already talked about the light novel.
Is that the one that has a 5 score on it that you're about to talk about?
Which one? No, that's a super ecchi one that I read from time to time. It doesn't publish very often, which is sad.
Speaking of ecchi,
It's actually, like, pretty damn good ecchi.
one of my favorite
But-
episodes.
Not yet, Connor.
I can't.
Not yet,
Oh,
Connor.
I know exactly what you're going to talk
Not
about.
yet, Connor.
But I read a manga that was a silent manga. There was no...
Oh, yeah, you talked
Yeah,
about
I was
that.
reading this while you were doing homework. You can read this shit really fast.
Wait. Did you just say a silent manga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you? Oh, you mean like no text?
Yeah, no text.
I was about to say, I'm like, that's kind of redundant, Dawson.
I know.
So the best chapter of Naruto.
No,
Every manga that I open up screams at me, you know?
yeah. It's a real problem sometimes. Like, I tried to
Yeah,
read this
dude,
stuff in secret in the
the-
middle of
just-
class and just...
I do have to say, there's only one chapter of Naruto in Shippuden that I could, like, honestly say is the best chapter of Naruto, and it's the silent chapter of Naruto. There's no words.
No, it's not silent. You in the background of your head, you can hear. Dun, 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 dun,
What are you singing?
Dun, dun, dun. You never heard that song?
What is that?
Every Naruto episode, when they have the feels moment, they play that music.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun,
Connor, stop before we get copyrighted.
I know. We'll get flagged. But yeah,
That's so
Josie Kasi?
Yeah.
Man,
I'm not
she's
entirely
deep
sure.
throating that popsicle, Jesus.
No, dude, that's not a very long popsicle.
I
That's
know.
like just the tip.
But the girth on that thing.
It's a
Jesus.
pretty big popsicle. But
So what is your...
it's
so
just
how
a
is...
wide popsicle.
How
She's
is
not
this
going
silent?
deep
How
with
is
it.
this silent
Oh,
manga?
it was actually really enjoyable. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna say 10 out of 10, but
10 10.
10 out of 10 would read again.
No, no.
I would read it again,
No.
but it's not a 10 out of 10.
Dawson, best manga, 7 out of 10.
Best manga ever.
Pointing in the
Solid
reference
5 out of
jar
10.
for Andrew.
I like that reference, though.
No, but yeah, it was really enjoyable. I probably would give it actually a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Um,
So now we're fully done with manga, right?
It was cute. It was very cute.
Dawson's like, oh, I read another manga
Yeah, I know.
about a girl who loves shoving like random things up her vagina and running around town.
That
Sorry.
sounds.
As Dawson goes, wait a second, I actually
I read one like that previously.
That sounds like this one.
I read a lot of weird manga.
I know.
It's more fun that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I already talked about Arrow Manga Sensei, so we can move on.
Okay, so moving on. Now let's go top 5. So this section is the top 5 best anime. Or do you want to do worst? Let's do best.
Let's start
These
on
are
a high
objectively
note.
the best. If you disagree with us, you're so wrong.
You are so.
This
They're
is
objectively the best, and we don't even agree.
this is the Anime Symposium's best anime of all time.
Yeah. Basically, you can take this as the top 15 best anime ever created.
Think of this as a 3-way tie between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's no argument here.
Unless for some reason we have the same manga on our top 5.
And then it's
Which
like,
I'm
Wait,
honestly...
you mean
Anime, sorry. Which I'm honestly not expecting.
Oh yeah, me and you could do a quick manga thing afterwards too.
Yeah, I have a top 5 manga.
Oh, I definitely have a top 5.
Oh,
manga.
easy. Berserk, One Punch Man,
So Connor's done.
Oh, maybe Claymore down at the bottom.
Claymore at 5.
5.
Yeah, Claymore's my 5.
Then what's 3 and 4?
Dude,
Just
you
fine.
just leave them empty. I haven't read those yet, but I'll read them eventually.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Berserk, One Punch Man, Murata, One Punch Man, blank, Claymore.
Confirmed. We don't need to talk about manga anymore.
And then the minute that Murata finally draws Monster Association arc, they swap. So, okay. So who wants to go first? Let's start at
For
5.
anime?
Number
Alright.
5. Let's go.
We're gonna build up.
We're gonna build up.
Okay.
5.
5.
Yeah, it's really funny because technically they know if they've listened to the previous.
I know
one.
they probably.
Mine are not ordered. I'm just gonna choose one from the list.
Okay,
Let's
5.
I hope it's 5.
So
Okay.
who's gonna go first?
I can start. I
Okay.
guess. So this is a recent addition to my top 5 list. So I knew it needed to be 5, but recently watching the Monogatari series, which I haven't finished, I'm partway through Owari Monogatari right now, which has some badass openings, and Spooky OG is like ridiculously spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually, she's one of the scariest characters I've encountered so far, which is weird because it's very, I don't know, it's uncertain. I'm not going to talk about that because that's spoilers. But
Okay.
I really like the Monogatari series, and I'm not sure whether I would put second season or Bake Monogatari as number 5. I'm debating on that one, so I just have it set as series right now because Bake is awesome, but second season contains my favorite arc of the entire series so far,
So,
which is
here's what
Hitagi End.
Yeah. So now that you've said all that,
Yeah.
quickly summarize it and then give your recommendation. Like,
Okay, so Monogatari series is about a highly perverse dude named Araragi. I have trouble saying his name. Characters in the show have trouble saying his name. And it's by Shaft,
So it's like
which if you've
Takanashi.
seen anything by Shaft, that should tell you a little something right off the bat. And it's probably one of the most Shaft shows out there.
Shaft.
I mean,
another one in the jar.
I know,
What?
but
Other YouTube reference jar. The other
Oh
YouTuber
yeah.
reference jar.
what?
Okay.
I don't know, but yeah, you have all the fun head tilts and everything. Andrew's dropping his coins. I mean, you just you have to watch it. It's something I can't explain to you, and nobody can really properly explain to you, because it's like, there's a lot of symbolism going on, but it's definitely easy level symbolism. Like, it's not on the level of Fooly Cooly, it's not on the level of, like, Ava, it's not on the level of Lane. Like, it's definitely below all of those. But there's still enough going on underneath the surface that you can feel smart when you watch it and be like, hey, I get that. See, that's the thing. It's the perfect balance between you can watch it and there's subtle things going on that you can pick out and be like, hey, I feel pretty smart for having noticed that. And that's actually really cool. Like, not only do I feel smart, I feel like the person who wrote this was decently smart and had an interesting thought process to follow. But it's also surprisingly, like, it's not generic in any way, but having heard all that I heard about the show before watching it, which is like, oh, Monogatari series, so different than anything you've ever watched.
Oh,
You
did
would
I just
say
hear-
enjoy with a cup of your own farts? And
Yeah,
it's
like
a huge circle jerk. It's a huge circle jerk.
Yeah, there's a huge circle jerk surrounding it, but
Everyone
honestly,
thinks that they're right.
it's a really good series, and it's really enjoyable, and Shaft's use of just strange animation techniques.
Wait. Is Monogatari the Dark Souls of anime, where it's super highly lore and symbolizes symbolization?
no,
and like
but there's actually a story in Monogatari.
there's a story in Dark Souls too.
There's item descriptions.
Yeah. It has been fun, like, piecing together, like, I haven't been this into piecing together, like, chronology and stuff like that, and when events happen since I read Index. Because this has a lot of that too, like, arcs happen out of order and cross different times with each other, so you kind of have to be like, wait, when did this happen in relation to this? Who was here who? Like, when the story starts off, they give you, like, a quick, like, description of, at some point, of Araragi's backstory and why he is right now, but it throws you in, like, right in the middle of this story that actually starts, like,
beforehand.
quite a ways back and continues quite a ways forward. Like, as far as I know, currently the last story, chronologically, is Hana Monogatari, which is about Kanbaru after Araragi and everyone else has graduated. And then the first one is whatever just aired recently that I haven't watched yet. That goes back... Not Nisei. Nisei's the second one. Oh. It starts with a K. It's like Kirisu Monogatari, I think. I have no idea. I haven't watched it yet. But that goes all the way back to Araragi Vamp Arc. I forget what that one's called. But yeah, it's really enjoyable. The dialogue for me was the biggest draw because it's very much a show about visuals and dialogue. Like, that's pretty much all that's going on with a very, very occasional fight scene. So you're you just sit there.
Yeah, you sit there and suddenly just a random panel just comes up of text.
Yeah. Okay, that's one of my favorite things that the show does. Is originally it starts out in Bakemonogatari, where I'm pretty sure, like, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm pretty sure what happened, and from what I've read, is that Shaft didn't have a lot of money to make this show. And there were certain sections and frames that were just unfinished. Like, they didn't have any animation to put there. So what they did is they left it blank, and it's just it flashes for a second onto a black frame that says black frame. Blank, blank, blank. Black frame number blank. This goes here. And it doesn't even say, like, it's a reference to what would go there. Okay. Like, it doesn't say anything the watcher can figure out. It's just a black frame of missing animation, which, one, gives it, like, this really weird style. It's a very weird stylistic choice, and it comes off as being, instead of coming off as incomplete, it comes off as...
But the issue is
slightly
it's actually
edgy.
incomplete.
But I'm pretty sure it was actually incomplete.
So they do it better than what I think it's called Xenosaga did with their game. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
Xenosaga is the definition of we ran out of budget for this game.
Dude, didn't Evangelion end with scribbles with marker or something like that?
No, it ends with a bunch of like random quick shots of characters just talking.
I swear, I've seen things that's literally just like a quick sketch of the paper colored in with markers.
No, that's a different show.
At the end of Eva?
I skipped through those last 2 episodes, so maybe.
Oh my god.
So, but basically, Xenosaga is the definition of a video game that's unfinished. Yeah. Where there's a section I've only heard about this, but I think it's in the second game. There's a section where literally a character walks into the frame, sits down in a chair, and just proceeds to tell you what's happening in the game. And with concept art behind them.
Damn.
And that happens for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then they do a dungeon, and then another character comes in and starts talking.
That's pretty bad. Like, this is cool, because it's only like a couple seconds for each one, and pretty early on, what they start doing is, at certain frames, instead of having a black frame as a cut, which a lot of times it just comes off as a unique way to do a cut, is to flash to that black panel, and then flash to the next screen. But what they start doing at some point is, sometimes, whoever, like, are you showing him squiggles from Evangelion?
I forgot about that!
This is actually from the show.
We don't need to talk about that.
I can't wait for us to watch
Until we watch Eva.
I can't wait.
I mean, I'm pretty excited to watch Evangelion.
That means I have to sit through those last 2 episodes?
Yeah, you do.
Shit!
Yeah, you do. I don't know what we're going to do about the movies.
We're not going to watch those movies.
I'm still debating about that.
We're not watching those movies.
I'm okay with that.
No rebuilds. No rebuilds. Fuck the rebuilds. If you say we have to watch the rebuilds, I will think of all of the schlock I will make you guys watch instead.
Okay, we won't watch the rebuilds. But at some point, pretty early on, it starts to, instead of sometimes when it would flash to black screens, it flashes to written out the character's thoughts, whoever's the main character you're following at that point is. So it's a really interesting effect, because usually within an anime, there's no real way to show what the character's thinking besides what they say, or having like a voiceover narration, which I think is...
It's pretty cool. I
think it's a really cool way to get around that. And a lot of times you only read a couple words, and because of how fast it goes, it almost does feel like you're reading and experiencing a thought. Like, it's really quick, and it just shows up for a second, and a lot of times you can only catch a few words of it, but they're enough to give you like a general picture of what that character's thinking.
Okay.
I think it's really cool. They start to do more and more weird, interesting things. They have a different opening and ending. Not every ending, but they have a different opening for every arc that happens, which is also really cool because you get a lot of different openings, and most of them are pretty damn good. I mean, not all of them, but most of them. So yeah, I really like the Monogatari series.
So that's Dawson's number 5.
I'll give you, honestly, I'll probably do like a full single me video talking about this at some point when I finally finish it.
I was about to say it's just me and Connor leave the room for like 10 minutes as
and
you
Dawson
talk.
just talks about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll finish it over spring break and I'll just do my own video.
Dawson will actually put like imagery over it and make it look really nice.
It's gonna be badass.
And then his mic won't cut out halfway through.
Yeah.
I know. Rip Andrew's video.
The infamous video.
That no one has ever seen.
It's not even on YouTube.
Dude.
It's on like Dailymotion or something.
No, you have to understand. This season's so meh. I was planning on making an openings video for this season. Nah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but to get down to the recommendation on this, so we can move on past this, because I've talked about this
We
for
should
quite
talk about
a
top
while.
openings at the end of this one too.
No, that's another day.
Okay.
That's
Another day we will do that.
That's
Because
another
I have
day.
a top ED list right
No,
now,
of
but I
this
don't
season,
have
I
a
mean.
top...
That's.
For the season wrap up, we should do that.
Oh yeah, we'll do it when we do the review on Erased.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I was about to say that's another day where we just need to fill time.
Yeah. Okay. If you really enjoy interesting character dialogue, it's not at all realistic, but it's
Yeah.
extremely enjoyable to read.
Okay.
If you like that sort of dialogue, like hot girls who have really witty dialogues with the main character, that's
Don't
like
dress like sluts.
that's
Okay.
what the Monogatari series is pretty much. More
Okay.
than anything
Also,
else.
they're constantly
If
saying
you
that,
like
man.
that, watch it. I recommend it.
Okay, so
Give it a
let's-
second shot if you try.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm done. You guys can
Okay, let's start
continue.
speeding these up because
Yeah,
that
sorry.
took way too long. That was its own personal
Okay,
review.
half of that wasn't even me talking
Yeah.
about the series, though.
That was you talking about its animation.
No, I mean, not even
Okay.
that. You guys started talking about random shit, like Evangelion and your game and whatever. I mean, it's
Dawson
relevant.
spent 5 minutes talking about how nice the art was. Sorry. I'm joking.
I
Anyway,
didn't talk that
so-
long
I'm
about
joking.
I talked
Okay.
about their budget
So
problems.
here's the contrast from Dawson to Andrew because mine's gonna be really quick because we did a whole video on this already.
Oh, yeah.
My number 5 is obviously Working, a great anime that we had a very long, extensive talk about. And
Yeah.
you could go watch that somewhere over there. And also is one of those shows that actually, like, it ends, and I'm like, I'm really satisfied with that ending. Thank
Yeah.
you for ending this show. Thank you for not overstaying your welcome, and it ends. And, like, it even wraps up all the plot points and everything just is, like, tied up all nicely.
Yeah, it has a nice bow on top of it.
Yeah, there's a nice package called Working, and you could just give it to somebody.
Yeah,
and be
and you're like, here,
watch this.
don't worry, it's finished.
Yeah, and
Unlike-
as we've discussed this, like, it's animes that are in my top 5 is something that I've seen on multiple times.
Yeah.
I've come to the conclusion that I really enjoy this and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's beat out other things. Like, I think we've beat out, like, wait, no, Orimo was 6.
Yeah.
And then I moved Speedgrapher to 10. Yeah, Speedgrapher used to be in this spot, and then I decided Speedgrapher is my gatekeeper.
for the 10 and
Yeah.
up.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do a special shout out to my, like, number 6 spot, which is, like, okay, my number 7 spot, because number 6 is still Orim. No, I think Orim was 7. My number
Orimo's
6
dropped
spot,
to 7.
my number 7 spot, which is Durara and Bakano, but you guys could hear me talk about that at length at every single time we have.
Oh, I'll be mentioning Bakuno later. And we haven't talked about it yet, so.
Yeah. I always put those two together just because it's the same writer, same style, and stuff like
I
that.
think they're very different.
They
They're
are.
very different shows, but it gets around me having 2 different spots.
You don't have to rate them separately.
I will give that Durara has a much better opening than Bakuno, in my opinion.
No, you're wrong.
Musically.
You're
Music-
wrong.
Musically, I
yes.
prefer
No, you're wrong.
Durarara's.
Durara 2 has a fucking...
The
No.
Durarara second opening music is amazing. Visually,
No.
Bakano is superior.
Bakano
and
is superior in every way, shape,
Bakano's
or form.
opening is more iconic.
I will take jazzy shit over, like jazzy music over
That's
Japanese
not
pop.
quite jazz.
Just like, you can't just do it by the, what's it called, the genre.
I could play,
I wouldn't know what to-
I could
it's
play the
definitely not
Bakano
jazz.
opening with my parents and they won't realize I'm a huge weeb. But if I ever played the
That's
Duraro,
a terrible
Dude.
recommendation.
In that case, Mushishi's opening is the best.
Yeah, right?
Like, you can play that and everyone's like, damn, that's some sick folk music, dude.
Quit spoiling my list, you asshole.
I know. We're just fucking with Connor here.
But yeah, I mean, I'll hop on the Baccano train when Connor talks about them.
Oh, speaking of another thing that has like American ass OPs and EDs, I'd like to give a really, really quick what's it called? Fucking hell.
Shout out.
Sorta. I guess shout out will do because I forgot what it's called. Honorable mention to JoJo Part 2 because it has Part 1 latched to it. It's not in my top 5. But both of them do have one of the best EDs ever. Which is not an anime song at all, but whatever. It works perfectly and it always bleeds in really well. Okay, so my number 5.
I guess I'm just done then.
My number 5 is the show. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that was part of yours. My number 5 is a show that kind of like really hit me when I was a teenager, but I don't think I could watch it again.
Demon Kingdom.
No, fuck that.
Number 5 confirmed.
Yes. No, but it's just because like I don't find myself in that position anymore where I'm kind of questioning what I want to do with my life. Like, what's the meaning of it all?
Oh, okay.
Why am I like so bad in public with people? So Welcome to the NHK definitely has that. It's a pretty well self-contained story. The characters are all interesting in their own ways, and like it has a lot of really interesting symbolism and crazy like shit going off the charts. Like his fucking furniture starts talking to him. Like when he starts falling for a girl, he thinks she's like conspiring against him. So you see her turn into like a monster where like fucking swords are coming out of her body. She has like a giant snake tail and shit coming out. It's just this crazy like psychedelic experience, and it really helps like capture how the character's feeling. And it like has a lot of talk about like society and how people are kind of locked up into their own houses because of like issues with society. And while it's super depressing at some points, it has a lot of really unique humor that I felt like scratches like a lot of itches like other humor just doesn't ever touch. So I would definitely recommend that. It's really well put together. I've recommended it to 1 or 2 people who also enjoyed it. So yeah, it's my top 5.
Yeah, and I think me and Dawson are adamantly just not deciding to watch that.
Welcome to the
I feel like that requires a specific mindset for it to like properly resonate with me. So I'm waiting until.
So please, Connor,
I
for
fall
your
into
week,
that mindset.
we've already decided do not do NHK.
Oh, we're probably doing one of my other ones that's coming up. So go ahead, Dawson.
Sweet. Coming into number 4.
Psychopaths. That's on mine.
No, I'd rather not.
I'll watch.
I'd rather
Psychopaths.
not.
A lot of people like Psychopaths.
I'd rather not.
I
is
feel
something-
betrayed by Psychopaths.
I'd rather
because
not.
of season 2.
I'd rather
because
not.
fuck season 2 and fuck teasing us with like the best character and killing her off in like episode 4.
Okay.
Fuck that.
No,
Spoilers.
No, fuck that. I am not stealing for this show. The show can burn.
no. This is the list of Connor's recommendations that I will watch. Kaiji being the top because I've been meaning to watch.
Fuck
that.
you.
then
like you said 4 out of my 5.
that's your fault. Oh wait, do you want me to name number 5 then? Because I could probably throw it out there. But Kaiji being like number 1, and then like possibly Akame ga Kill, and then like Welcome to the NHK, and then like Psychopaths. Like those are the.
Notice I didn't say anything for Akame ga Kill. That's just not on my list.
It better not be.
So Dawson, move on.
Yeah. For number 4, speaking of symbolism, Fooly Cooly is my number 4th. Mainly, the number 1 reason Fooly Cooly is number 4, and this is probably not a good reason, but it has the godliest soundtrack.
That's the only reason I'm taking from you, honestly.
Yeah.
So
No, there's more. There's a lot more than
I
that.
know.
That alone is not enough for
Yeah.
it to be number 4. But it has my favorite soundtrack of any show I've ever watched. Not even just. Okay, maybe that's a little much, but if anime for sure, it's definitely number 1 soundtrack of all time. It's the pillows are amazing, and because it's one band doing the entire thing,
and
it really, instead of sounding like repetitive, like you're listening to the same shit over and over again, it all retains the same style while still being different enough to be interesting. Plus, they use this weird blend of like Japanese and English lyrics that also hits well. I don't know. There's a lot of scenes in Fooly Cooly that would not be as cool if it wasn't backed by the music.
Just
like,
for that reference between that Cowboy Bebop and Kekai Sensen's soundtracks.
Soundtrack? Fooly Cooly tops them.
No, I know. I mean, like, how close is it?
How close is it?
It's what's your ranking on those three?
Kekai
I mean, my
number one.
second favorite soundtrack, and this is slight spoilers for later on.
Oh,
my
then
list.
don't. Okay,
But-
just those three.
Just those three.
Because, like...
It's been too long since I've watched Cowboy Bebop.
Okay.
To rate, because I remember the OP and ED, both of which are amazing and really well done. Like, I love Old Folk Blues, and then Tank is just, like, super iconic. Plus, it's got the sweet, like, James Bond-styled opening. But I don't remember enough about the rest of the soundtrack to actually rate that. Kekai Sensen-wise, it's like a couple steps down. As much as I really like Kekai Sensen's soundtrack, it's not... I don't know. It's very disjointed.
No, yeah,
I mean, it
agree.
definitely mirrors the show.
I love
the show is pretty disjointed in and of itself.
I adore Kekai Sensen's
Yeah.
OST. You know me. I literally play
You listen
that
to
on-
it all the time.
I listen to it all the time. And then rewatching the show, I'm like, wait, that's where they put that song? That's amazing.
It's like, oh shit.
But even I can say, like,
Yeah.
who's listened to it probably like hundreds of times since we've watched that show, like,
Yeah.
it's not that great. It's very disjointed, and there's a lot of songs that I could just skip to the next one because I'm just like not
Yeah.
into that. The one soundtrack, like, if I had to rate soundtracks right now, it's like Kekai Sensen's like here, and then Air Gear. Is
Nobody
like,
can see where your
fucking
hands
Air
are.
Gear.
Andrew.
I don't care. You guys have the limit, but like Air Gear.
He put his hand a little bit higher for Air Gear.
Air Gear. No, Air.
It was like
here,
belt
here.
level to head
Yeah,
level.
Air Gear
is
is a
the
soundtrack
difference.
that I could just listen, and I think
Air Gear's got a really good sound.
like Air Gear is like
That's the best part of the show.
No, it's definitely is. It's like literally
Along with the sweet like rollerblades.
yeah. Oh god, I wish that show was just about rollerblades. It's like something. It's
Isn't
like
that literally just Jet Set Radio, the anime?
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then when they stopped being Jet Set Radio, the anime, it became shit. Like. Honestly, like, I really enjoy that soundtrack because it's literally somebody listened to Jet Set Radio and went, I could make, you know, an
I
OST.
could write a manga about this.
No, it's not even that. I could write an OST very similar to this. And
Yeah.
then wrote it, and then somebody goes, so I wrote this thing called Air Gear. Perfect, here.
Let's just stick these together.
And it's like, Air Gear soundtrack, top tier for me.
Air Gear's soundtrack is pretty great.
Okay, so
Uh,
other than the soundtrack, what do you
Other
like
than the
about
soundtrack,
Honestly, I think we could hold off on FLCL because that is actually...
that'll be part of the
that's-
Gainax rewatch.
Yeah, that's literally on our...
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
it? Are you...
That's on
We
our
have to
docket.
rewatch it?
Yeah!
We're rewatching Gurren, Kill la
Kill,
Kill, FLCL, Die Buster, Gunbuster, and Eva.
I quit.
Yeah,
Connor sends in his letter of resignation.
it's
like,
okay. I'll call you when the cool
You
scenes
said
are
5 things, and I was like, no, and no.
But
Connor's gonna have problems.
Yeah, Connor's gonna have like problems for like 6 weeks.
Is that gonna be full 6 weeks?
No, that's gonna be like a whole 10
Should
weeks.
we just put Gunbuster and Die Buster together
Okay,
in
so that's
1 week?
one. That's one. And
We
then
can do that first.
And then
Eva.
That's 24. So
and
that's
then
2 weeks.
Fooly Cooly.
So that's 1 week.
And then Gurren.
Gurren, that's 2 weeks.
And then Kill la Kill.
That's 2 weeks. Connor's dying.
You know, I chose Yu Yu Hakusho over Gurren, right?
Yeah, we're so.
I still
Aren't
haven't...
you regretting that decision?
Yes!
Well, now you don't have to. Because you'll get to watch both.
But we're all
Yeah, I'm
watching.
really regretting that decision.
But here's the thing: we're all gonna be watching Gurren together. Like even like Thomas and Mario might hop on the Gurren.
Together, Connor.
Yeah, until I start shit-talking it, and then you guys start sneaking it without me again.
That was only because you were busy that night and we really wanted to watch Erased. And it's the only other reason was...
Oh, I was talking about Grimgar.
I know.
Oh. No, I watch Grimgar without you so you don't shit talk.
No, that's exactly what I was saying, Dawson. I literally just said that.
Yeah, but see, that's something for the... if I'm rewatching something, like if I watched Grimgar and then watched it again with you, I'd have a decent grasp on what I liked about it, so I could, like,
Alright.
counter. But when I'm first watching it, like, I need to get into the show without shit
So
I'm really bad at watching things I don't like.
okay, so
My bottom 5 is not very good.
So we'll come back to FLCL at a later
Yeah,
date.
we'll talk more about it later, but that's my number 4.
So my number
Look
4.
forward to when we talk about it.
My number 4 is another anime we've watched on this cast because I'm pretty sure when we first started this, it was what are my favorite anime? Let me just get
Let's
it to watch.
make you guys watch it.
So Samurai Flamenco, we have an extensive cast that actually is our probably less listened to cast. So please go listen to that one. It's pretty good.
It's a pretty interesting
Pretty
one.
interesting anime in our discussion about it. But Samurai
5 out of
Flamenco.
10.
That's Dawson, not you. motherfucker.
This is proof that my ratings change over time, guys.
Yeah, I know.
What, it was at a 7 when
It was-
you...
I
yeah,
think so.
it was at
Okay,
7.
to be fair, for some reason on the podcast, I have a habit of rating everything 7.
Yeah.
And then later I think about it and I'm like, maybe that wasn't a 7.
No, Toradora you gave a 6.
Yeah. It's still been a 6.
But yeah.
When I first watched it, it was probably a
But
7.
yeah, so
but it's a 6 now.
anyway, Samurai Flamenco, you guys could hear about that talk. So I'm gonna do a replacement. Special shout out to my Gatekeeper anime that used to be in my top 5.
Gateway.
No,
Gatekeeper.
this is Gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper.
This is
is-
the one that keeps other, like,
It's-
for an anime to get into Andrew's top 10, it has to be better
Oh.
than this one.
I thought... I was like, Gatekeeper, what? Do you show this to people to scare them from anime?
No, it's
It's
one
like Kill a Kill and
No.
like all the friends you have who are girls,
Yeah.
anime's just softcore porn,
Right?
guys.
Hey, there's a lot of people that got into anime because
So-
of Kill la Kill.
So basically, my Gatekeeper,
surprising
my
amount.
Gatekeeper anime that I basically gauged most of anime of like, did I enjoy this more than this? And that's Speedgrapher, an anime that is.
Actually, that would work as what I was describing before.
What do you mean?
Scaring away new people.
Yeah, yeah. I watched this. It's one of my favorite animes. It's just about a photographer who comes across special powers one day,
Yeah.
and then the girl who gave him special powers, he's like, this is really fucked up what you're doing to this girl.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to save her, and then proceeds to go on this lengthy road trip to try to save her.
So Elfin Lead. No, just kidding.
No. And it's really cool because he's a photographer, so he's able to use photography and stuff like that. And there's a lot of stuff about drugs, sex, and politics that I was really interested in, with all the politicians all being in like this secret sex club and like them doing background.
Oh, this shit is fetishized to hell.
Oh my god, it is. And
Dude,
everything
I saw
is a
something
fetish.
really... I can't remember what it was recently. I
Wasn't there like
probably
a
blocked it
dentist
out of my
tentacle
mind.
rape scene?
yes.
I saw something within this last week that, like... I think I was watching AMVs, so it came up in an
Evade Hail
AMV.
3. We watched it like just the other week.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, and it's the dentist guy. So basically, his power is that he, basically the powers relate to like the thing you obsess over.
Yeah.
So the girl who really loves diamonds can turn herself into a diamond, and like a person who's really loyal turns into having a dog nose. It's stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
You got the shit out of the stick there.
but
No, the person who can turn into diamonds can't turn back.
no, no, that was an actual really interesting fight because what he has to do is he since he has to take a picture of it, he can't focus on the diamond because it's transparent. So every time he takes a picture, it just shoots behind her. So he's like, "Fuck, what do I do?"
Are you
Dude,
serious?
Manual focus.
No, even if he's manualing, it's like it's still hard to.
But-
You can still see the picture of the diamond.
You can...
People have taken pictures of diamonds
No, but
before.
she's transparent. The whole point is that she's transparent, so it's harder.
So it's like...
I mean, it's harder, but you can just
you still
give a really
see it.
narrow depth of field and then
Anyway,
just fuck around with
Anyway, as a person who doesn't look into photography as much, this is really interesting, and it has like a nice little whistle that I whistle around like.
Or you can literally throw paint on her.
Actually, that's that's literally how the problem solved.
Hey, it's just like Anohana, except they didn't do that.
oh wait.
But I really enjoy it, and it's one of those animes where I watched it in public, and it was one of the funniest like occurrences that I've ever had in my life. Where
Quote unquote public.
no, I was watching it in my own apartment with like my roommates walking by, and I'd get to like these hype fight scenes where he's like using his camera and just like doing really cool things.
And no one would be there. I remember this.
And no one would be sitting there.
And then you get to the creepy fetish bullshit.
And someone would sit down. Or like there's the moment where like the police officer lady who's really obsessed with like who's really obsessed with guns and can't get turned on unless she has a gun in her hand. Like she's like trying to have sex with like the passed out like photographer quote unquote.
I thought you were gonna say with the gun, just like
no.
Oh god, I don't. I'm not okay with that.
But yeah, so I really enjoy that anime. It has a really nice conclusion, and I really
remember the safety.
Yeah,
you gotta turn on.
But it's one of those things where it's like, I use that as my gatekeeper anime, and it's really weird. You're right. It's really fetishized and really gory and stuff like. Why is this in my top 10? Who knows? I really enjoy it.
Hey man, I like Berserk.
As we all know. Wait.
How is that not relevant?
It was definitely relevant, but
you
we
didn't
just
have to bring it
always
up.
talk about Berserk.
I know, but I'm just making it. Fine.
So Connor, what's your number 4?
I was like, let me hit the random anime generator here.
Did you know drop?
Absolutely.
Shit.
Well, okay, let's see.
Oh man, that's a conversation that's gonna be lost through time.
No, okay, I'd say this is a good one to do it. Ooh, actually, okay. Fuck. Heads or tails?
We actually have a coin.
The coin's gone.
Andrew lost it.
It's tails.
Mushishi.
Okay.
Also, Natsume Yujinjo as sort of a sloppy second on that.
So it's slash.
Yes, they're really, really interesting, but really similar shows. It's episodic shows where you follow around this one interesting character, and he's like a doctor. Well, he's either a doctor or in Natsume's case, it's just kind of a kid. But they can see these spirits, and it's how like the spirit and human worlds kind of interact with one another. And the spirits are just kind of used in like a folktale kind of sense, like they're used to explain the unexplainable, and they're seen as like ghosts or apparitions, and like it's just an interesting tale of them walking around. You never meet the same character twice.
There's very like one or episodic.
Two. Yeah, and as they go along, you kind of start learning the main character's backstory, just in like little tidbits. But it's always like a short story. There's always almost a different theme to each one, and it's always like a really interesting like. I don't want to say monster design, but it's a unique like creature design.
Spirit. Sort of.
They're not really spirits.
Mushi?
Mushi and...
We can just call them Mushi.
Yeah.
Like...
Would you call the yokai and, what's it called, Natsume Mushi as well?
No.
They're so similar.
Yokais, I think both of them are, like, actual things within Japanese... Culture. Like, I know... yokai. I know yokai for sure definitely are. Like, they're just spirits of sorts, like, when an object gets used
Actually,
a lot.
in the sub, they might call them yokai and mushishi, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're Mushi. I'm not sure about Mushi, how that is, but yokai are definitely like a cultural thing.
Well, anyways, they're not really plants or animals or anything like that. They're their own thing often. Sometimes they started out as a living being and then they formed into something else.
Yeah.
But it's not like Monster of the Week kind of bullshit where it's like, oh, we have to defeat it using this little gimmick. There is some things like that, but a lot of the times it's more like, okay, how are the people acting? What are their lives like that's surrounding this thing? And how are you gonna like shape their lives back into shape through this? And what's the best like situation you can make out of this? It's very much like it's not a fight. It's just how is your life affected by these creatures? And it's really interesting and it's really calming. And I definitely recommend watching it episodically rather than like all at once.
Yeah, I've been
watching
Mushishi for a long time, and every once in a while I'll just like watch one episode of it. And I'm like, damn. Mushishi is really cool, and then I won't watch it for a long time, and then I'll go back and watch another episode and be like, dude, this is awesome.
It's like watching Death Parade all at once. You can't do that.
Also, I'd really find Natsume almost better if they started doing what's in the manga, because they added like a dark kind of character who's like the opposite of him to the manga.
The dark Natsume.
No, it's not dark
Shadow
Natsume. Like, he kidnaps him and he goes, dude, check out my cool monster. And Natsume's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know.
Wait, does the dark dude start making his own Book of Monsters?
Book of Monsters?
Isn't that what they call it?
What?
What do they call it? Isn't that the whole plot of Natsume?
Pokemonsters?
No, Book of Monsters.
Oh, no!
You know how he has the book of...
I thought you said Pokemonster.
I heard Pokemonsters, actually.
No.
I did not.
No, he's
need
not
to
making
say...
a book of monsters. He's
okay,
like
Book of Monsters.
he's like using weird.
Is that what they called it?
Yeah, but he could like capture this really dark yokai, and he's like torturing people. It's weird. He's a creepy guy. But like, I
Sounds
really
like
enjoyed
it.
the story they're kind of going for there on the manga, but I don't think they're really continuing the anime right now. I could be totally wrong though.
There's a couple seasons of it, isn't
Yeah, but there's even more in the manga. Okay, moving on.
Number 3, Dawson.
Down to 3. My number 3 is Non Non Biori, which this along with the Monogatari series had the same general style of start for me. Like, I tried to watch it at one point, and I got an episode or 2 into it, and the first time I watched this, I was like, this is too slow for me. I watch pretty slow shows, but it was just too slow, and I wasn't in the right mood for it, and I'm like, I don't understand what's so great about Non Non. And then, like, a month or 2 later, I went back, and I'm like, okay, I'll try watching Non Non Biori again. And I did, because the second season was coming out, and I'm like, okay, I might as well. I kind of want to watch the second season. So I will go and I will watch the first season. I started watching it, and the more I started watching it, the more into it I started to get. And I don't know, it's on the same vein of Mushishi, as it's extremely calming, and it's about a group of 5
Friends.
girls.
4.
4?
4.
Generally 4 main girls, and then there's
Mushichi's a little bit darker.
yeah. I mean, Non Non's not dark at all.
See,
Yeah,
the thing
exactly.
But
that's a funny thing where I think I did this. I thought I was gonna do the same thing as like you did with Mushishi and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Where it's like with working, I was like, when I first watched it, I was like, oh, you know, I could like when I first watched it the first time, I was like, oh, you know, I'll just watch 1 or 2 episodes here and there,
Yeah.
and then next thing I know, I got to the really, really good part
Yeah.
where it started getting really good, and I just like, brrr, I'm
blew
done.
right through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the reason why I like Non Non has to do with the fact that it's 4 girls in an extremely rural environment. Like, they're the only... Those 4 girls and then 2 of them's brother are the only 5 people in the school in the entire town that they live in.
They should really shut that school down.
So, I mean, they have to go to school somewhere.
Just drive to another town.
Dude, one of the girls' like sisters is the teacher.
Just
So
drive to another town.
they all
How is
dude,
that?
the another town's way too far away. Like they have to
Okay.
take a train to get to the another town.
Dude,
Okay.
there needs to be like an episode where like the what's it called? A school board comes in and goes, okay, we need to start doing testing on your students to make sure like your
Oh,
school is
God.
actually teaching everything correctly. You ever have that like standardized tests?
4
and
out 4 out of 5 of them would pass. One of them definitely wouldn't.
Which is fine. That's what schools expect.
Yeah, but it's okay. This is a show I would not recommend to everyone. Like this is probably the least recommendable show
Talking about me.
on my list. Connor just couldn't watch this show. Like I don't think you'd hate it
No.
with
yeah,
the same way
probably
you'd
not.
hate certain shows, but I think it just wouldn't be interesting at all to you.
Yeah. And by the way, I did hate Toradora for a bit.
Yeah. See, that's the difference. Toradora
See, I
and
hate
like
Toradora
Nagino
now.
and stuff like that, it's very much drama based, so
Yeah,
if
but-
you don't like the
No,
drama,
I
you're...
didn't despise the characters in Nagino. I fucking hated Taiga. You don't understand. Like, she's such a goddamn bitch until Christmas, and then she's no longer a bitch for no reason. Fuck Taiga.
That is why Toradora is my gatekeeper anime from the 5 zone. Is this anime? Did I enjoy? Did this anime hurt me like it did with Toradora? Boom, below 5.
Wow. See, I feel like Dawson has a much like more loose rating for his 5s.
My fives really aren't that bad.
Yeah,
Like,
Well, everything goes on a relative scale.
I know. You have a bit higher scoring than Dawson.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, I'm about to adjust it.
And my
so-
score's bullshit high. Like, I
Yo,
don't
dude,
have a correct rating.
You don't understand. I just switched Kusamadoshi Kusen with Asterisk War. And remember, I originally hated Kusamadoshi Kusen with a burning passion, and then I watched Asterisk and Anti-Magic High School, and I went, you know what? Kusamadoshi Kusen. Decent show.
Decent show.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I
As
don't know
much
about
as
that either.
as
No,
much
no,
as
no,
I
no.
didn't like either of those shows, I'm pretty sure I would have enjoyed them more than Kusen Madoshi.
I think
Oh,
Andrew
no.
just appreciates the formula now.
No,
Dude, when we watched the anime that we haven't been watching this season, he was calling out the formula.
Yeah, the Bahamut one, I literally went,
Yeah.
okay. Here's what's gonna
And
happen.
he was right.
I literally laid it down for Connor. I went like, okay, first thing is gonna happen. He's gonna run into the main girl while she's changing naked. I don't know. Accidentally grope her. He's gonna get
Big misunderstanding.
Big misunderstanding. Gets sent to the principal's office. They have a fight. And he wins the fight out of some bullshit reasons. And then we started calling characters as we went.
Also, the girl he falls in on at the very beginning is the main girl.
And she's a tsundere.
Of course.
Also, she's
And she's a princess. And she's a princess.
Like the top of her
she's
class.
a princess. And the top of the class.
And he's seen as good, but also known as the weakest.
See, and that's why I enjoyed, and that's why when I looked back at Kusamadoshi in my head, I knew that it was shit, but at least it was at a good enough shit level that it went, like, it's the same
Dude, the
thing with Divine
animation
Gate.
on that was
No,
god-awful.
that's the whole point, where it went to Divine Gates level, where it switches, where I went, this is the, like, you know when you hit the Metlo area where you're just like, I don't want to watch it, but when you see a train wreck and you don't want to look away, and you enjoy that train wreck, that's Kusamadoshi Kusen. Because at least in the first episode, all the main characters are all stupid. The whole point...
I mean, okay. So, just because a show follows the formula to the letter, it means it's not going to be very good, but I don't think that necessarily means it's automatically worse than a show.
Or it's automatically better if a show doesn't do that.
But here's the thing.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. I found
Like,
slight
from
enjoyment.
what I saw
No,
of
here's the
Kushin
thing.
Madosi...
And here's the thing. I found slight enjoyment from Kusen Madoshi
But it
Kusen.
is objectively worse.
It's objectively worse, but subjectively, I didn't
Enjoyed it
skip
more.
half the anime watching it because I just, like, my eyes just...
So, are you going to give Divine Gate like a 6?
Oh my god, yes. No, what do you mean? It's a 10 out of 10.
First 11 out of 10 on Andrew's list.
No, so the thing about Kusamadoshi Kusen is that there was moments where I legitimately chuckled. I legitimately was enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like when the moment where they're trying to follow, like the fact that he's their teacher.
Yeah.
Not like, rival tsundere roommate thing. And that's one of the things. And not only that, but like these three girls, I never saw it, like they were chasing after him as his harem, but he didn't care. He actually had his eyes on like one girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then the fact that in Kusamadoshi Kusen, the main girls, they're not the top of their class. They're actually the worst of their class. And his whole entire goal is to make sure that he's like that they don't fail. And so it's the whole this thing where he has like, weird ways of teaching into doing. And it's like GTO where you watch it and he's like, he has weird ways of teaching them in a way. Because he always has a lesson. Why? Like, one of the things is he shoves them into a maid cafe, puts them in maid outfits and go.
Dude.
Why are we talking about Kusamadoshi Kushin? Isn't this like top 5s?
Yeah, but I'm making
I was talking about Non over here.
I'm making a point here real quick. And that's why, like, that slight enjoyment of like, okay, I like kind of reminded me of GTO, stuff like that, where I was kind of chuckling, where like the girl, like the red hair.
I totally forgot to mention GTO, also on my honorable mentions.
But the red hair girl going like, is anyone freaking out that he's with a girl? And then the other two characters are like, but this cake's really good.
It's like,
and then
guys,
the part
this
where like they drop the ice cream and it just cuts to like the ice cream man just crying, like. That's stuff that's enjoyable. And then you go to Asterisk and you just go, there's nothing redeeming about this show. And that's my reasoning.
I have no idea how we got here.
Yeah, me either.
Okay.
Wait.
I'm sure it wasn't my fault.
No, it was Connor's fault. It was. Because he brought a Toradora.
No, Andrew. All I know for sure, it just wasn't my fault at all.
No, it was definitely your fault, actually.
God damn it, I'm making a reference.
Oh, yeah. It's, definitely not your fault, actually.
I love that reference. I love that. Damn it. I really want to talk about that show. Keep going.
But,
sorry about the tangent.
It's fine.
Yeah, that was more Andrew than me, though. I mean, I might have said something, but
Connor turns the tide, and then Andrew becomes, like, the tidal wave itself.
I'm the earthquake.
Like, Connor's like the moon up there, and he's like, if I move a little bit this way, and then Andrew's like, raw. But Non-Non's one of those shows that, okay, I've discovered something recently. For me to find a show really good, it has to have top-notch background art.
Yeah, no, you talked. I think you talked about this last week.
I think I did. Like, if I think about all the shows that I like, all of them have really good
background
art.
Yeah.
Like, even if the animation itself isn't that good, if the background art is, like, top-notch, I'm like, oh, baby.
That's why wallpapers...
That's why I like Grimgar so much. That's why I like 5 wallpapers per second.
Yeah.
There's just so many... There's so many good examples of that. But Non Non Biori is one of those that has... It uses its backgrounds really well. Mm-hmm. Like... When the show starts, for I think it's the first time, it's just like a solid minute of cutting to different still frames and like very lightly animated frames of different like shots of the countryside, and the entire time that's going, you can hear
Fuck you, that song's in my head now.
You can hear Renge, one of the main characters, who she's super cute, but God damn it, Connor. But you can hear her like playing her recorder like really lightly in the background. So it's actually got an interesting soundtrack. I don't know. It's one of the few shows that make me feel nostalgic without actually having nostalgia
for no reason
for the show itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the first time I listened to Non Non Biori's first opening, like when the song ended, like there's this one specific part where the chorus kind of breaks out, and because of the roughness, like it's when they jump off the bridge into the water.
Yeah.
The chorus, I don't know if it's the chorus or not, but the song kind of breaks and gets louder, and kind of the rough female voice that's singing, something about that exact moment of the song, like I just felt this wave of nostalgia wash over me, and it's weird because usually songs don't do that right off the bat. I need to give them time to get there. And usually shows don't do that right off the bat. I need to actually have watched the show, go back and watch it, and I'm like, oh, I'm so nostalgic for when I first watched this. So, I don't know. I like Non Non Biori on a very personal level, and also Renge is like my a favorite character of mine. She's great. Yeah, so if you're okay with slow, slice of life, light comedy sort of shows,
read Yatsuba. Sorry.
Go watch
I'll do that. See, that's different though. That's way more comedy based than this is. Like, this one's weird because it is definitely comedy based, but the comedy is much slower and lighter than most other slice of life comedy based shows. Like, I can say it's very different from K-On! It's very different from Yuri Yuri. It's very different from Kirino Mosaic. It's very different from like Azumanga Daioh and Yatsuba.
Days!
And definitely very different from
Nozaki-kun. Why is that not up there?
I'm not sure. That was in contention for spot 4.
Okay.
It was that or Fooly Cooly, and I was like, you know what? Fooly Cooly is just great. Gekon Shoujo is number 6.
We checked out
the
dub yesterday.
Definitely number 6.
We checked out the dub yesterday. Not great.
I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to hear it.
You know what has a good dub? Define Gate.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
It actually has a good dub.
We are gonna keep this up.
It has a really good
dub.
I'm not gonna watch it.
I'm not gonna watch it.
We've decided one day we're just gonna...
You don't want to just sit there and shoot the shit with us? Like it's really...
just... When we just have some free time, just like...
Edgy shows are really hard for me.
No, but here's the thing.
It's so edgy,
we don't take it seriously.
I know we
at
don't.
All. But if you just take it with the grainest of salt and just sit there and riff on it with us, you will have as much enjoyment.
I just think you need to watch this episode that we just watched.
Honestly, it's just
nothing else, just this episode.
Dude, I can't wait for the next episode where half the cast dies. I keep calling that. I'm waiting for that moment.
Oh, we're super far behind too.
It'll happen eventually.
Oh no, we've decided to watch the dub because it's just like...
Because the dub's actually really good.
So moving on
that show does not deserve the treatment.
We will talk more about Divine Gate in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So moving on to my number 3 is on the flip side of Dawson going, okay, we'll talk about Fooly Cooly on a later date. We'll talk about Gurren Lagann on a later date. Because Gurren Lagann is definitely number 3 for me of like, that's a show that I've actually not rewatched. Like, thinking about it...
I haven't either.
Like, no, because on my top 5, I've rewatched on multiple occasions.
I only have one in my top 5 I haven't rewatched,
like,
too, I think.
Working, I've seen, like, at least 3 times with you guys. No, I've seen it 3 times with you guys. Samurai Flamenco, at least seen it twice. Full Metal Alchemist, both of them I've seen on multiple
Yeah.
occasions, and Steins Gate is one of my most rewatched shows next to Baccano,
Yeah.
because Baccano was the easiest show to just put on in the
And
background.
just like, boom.
But Gurren Lagann, yeah, we're gonna talk about that later. If you haven't seen Gurren Lagann's amazing. I'm gonna buy that $600 Blu-ray box set.
One day.
Drill to the heaven. Literally look to your left, Dawson, or look to your, like, right there on my wall is the Gurren flag just hanging there, if that's not evident on how much I like Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
And my number 2 anime is actually underneath my bed right now because it fell over.
Oh no! I know what that is.
So literally it's like what, like, literally them facing each other of, like...
Yeah.
So,
Andrew's number
Gurren
3
Lagann's
and 2.
amazing. We will talk about that on a later date.
Yeah.
And that's a show that it's hype, the anime, of, like,
Yeah.
it's incremental of how the scale works, and just talking about the scale of where they start off from to where they end up with.
Yeah.
The scale is just as good as Wonderful 101, which is basically just Gurren Lagann, the anime. So,
Yeah.
I just realized I have 4 left and only 3. So I need to knock off one now really quick,
So
back down to honorable mentions.
uh-huh.
And since so many people have already talked about this, I'm going to knock down Baccano. Just because that's one of the things that's like less unique for me.
Uh-huh.
So, like, I guess, can we go through Baccano just really, really quick before I move on?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so if you haven't watched Baccano, watch Baccano and watch the dub. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the
Like-
2 things you need to know. You
like-
should probably watch Baccano, and you should most definitely watch it dubbed.
And
This
that's-
is the only show
dude,
that I think everyone should watch dubbed.
And that's the-
that is saying a lot.
And that's the thing. When no one ever believes me. No one ever believes... Like, anytime I talk about anime and no one's seen Baccano, I go, watch it dubbed. And they just stare at me. And I just go, I'm
No, you
100%
don't understand.
serious. Like, I will sacrifice somebody to make you watch this dubbed.
Okay.
It might be Connor.
Yeah,
And
this is the only show I will recommend that anybody ever watch dubbed, and I will adamantly recommend it. And that's
It's
a
a
really
fucking great show,
weird
too.
thing for me. And yeah,
And
Baccano's
apparently-
If you like Durara, fucking go watch Baccano.
Because
Like,
apparently
right now.
Baccano's, that's the first volume. It's only the first
Yeah.
volume. Yeah.
Do you think they're ever going to continue it?
No.
Speaking of honorable mentions and Baccano and Durarara, I don't know why I'm talking about this now, but one thing I really want to be animated at some point is,
Berserk. Got it.
yes, Berserk. Well, I want it
Oh,
to be
wait.
animated not
Oh,
shittily.
wait.
Oh, wait. No, but the
Berserk
the
movies
side
haven't been
story novel, there's a side story novel for Index called A Certain... I know.
Go ahead.
A certain...
Whoa.
Drop the... I know. Hey, this doesn't happen that often.
I don't care.
You could have waited 5 seconds and I would be done.
I
And it
know.
would have been your turn. I'm just saying.
I know, but I wanted to say this because we were talking about these 2 real quick. One, Rail Deck series is my honorable mention. I love it to death in the fact with and definitely including all of its many, many flaws. But there's a side story novel called A Certain Vending Machine's Proof of Existence, which is written by the writer of Baccano and Durarara, and it's actually a really cool
Wait, is
little...
that part of the Index universe or something?
Yeah, and it's just about a vending machine.
It's about... No, it's not.
it's
If
like
only it was.
So it's like they brought in another writer to write for their universe?
No, it's like...
Guest writer.
It basically a guest writer. Like
Yeah.
they're all under Dengeki
Bunko.
Bunko.
Writing Climax.
Lol. But so like that's why there's a collaboration story where Toma, Misaka, Kirino, and Kyosuke, the main characters of My Little Sister Can't Possibly Be This Cute, and Index,
Hang out.
hang out together. They like have an interview together.
Dawson,
That one honestly
Connor,
isn't that
you're killing
good.
Connor. You're killing
And
Connor.
doesn't it's like not canon at all because their universes totally don't cross.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
No, that doesn't
But
work.
this one is the guy who wrote Durarara and Baccano coming in and being like, "Hey, you have a really interesting universe. So I'm going to take some ideas from your universe and write a short side story novel that it's got one of the like coolest fights
Yeah.
ever that I would love to see animated, and I don't think I ever will.
It's
but
fine,
it's
Dawson. I will never see Jocker Khan fight Maggie.
yeah. You'll never see Jocker Khan fight Negi. I will never see Misaka fight.
A vending machine, yeah, I know.
Oh,
I
I'm
know.
totally gonna get to see the Garo fight.
Shut the fuck up.
Fight, I can't, Gunma. But yeah, sorry.
You're
I
number
wanted to
3.
mention that
Okay.
because we were talking about.
We'll watch
lots
my
of
number 3
relevant-
later. It's Kaiji,
Okay.
and it would be higher, except I despise the ending. Okay,
So
moving
next
on.
week. Yeah.
So that's next week.
Yeah.
On to number 2s.
Number 2.
It's Ultimate Survivor Kaiji. It's really good. Sorry.
My number 2 is Hibeki Euphonium, which from here on out it's
Would you say it's the shit? Sorry.
it is most definitely the shit.
Sorry.
We could have watched Becky instead of Toradora.
Oh, I was just making a terrible joke. Sorry.
No, I know.
But from here on up, in terms of my list, I know it's only the last 2, but it's only KyoAni from here. But Hibeki it really surprised me, actually.
Uh-huh.
Like, this I watched while it was airing, which, it was in the first season I was watching things. Like, I watched Absolute Duo, the second season of Sword Art, and Log Horizon.
Oh, that's a terrible
Together.
season.
It was, no, that wasn't this season. That was, like, things that I was kind of watching from the previous season. That was winter of last year.
I know,
and
but
then
that's...
spring of last year, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch lots of shows from this season. And
But-
I saw Hibeki, and I was like, this is Kyoto Animation. This is about a bunch of kids in a music club together. This is just gonna be K-On! 2.0. I'm not that excited for this, because as much as I like K-On!, I didn't love K-On! So I was like, okay, this is gonna be okay. And that's all it's gonna be. But then the more and more of it I watched, the more and more I got into it. And then finally it hit episode 8. And episode 8...
Weren't you gushing about this last podcast?
Probably. I really like this show.
He really likes its animations.
One, it's absolutely gorgeous in terms of animation. Second off, I think it's got really interesting like character relations and dynamics going on throughout the entire thing. Plus, I hate to use the word relatable because I've been having personal thoughts and problems regarding that word recently because it's honestly not a very descriptive word, and if something isn't relatable, that's really a problem with you and not a problem with the show.
Yeah.
But
Divine Gate totally not in the...
Yeah, seriously. Like, if you don't get what the weird connections the characters are making in half a second, I mean, obviously it's just tropes, so you should be able to relate with that, you know?
Yeah.
Because everyone relates with tropes.
right?
I swear to God,
Right,
dude,
guys?
we need to talk about Divine Gate like
Okay.
fast.
We will talk about Divine
Burning.
Gate soon. But as much as personally for me,
Understand us, Dawson. It's gonna be me and Connor.
It
probably...
re-sparked our hate boners.
It's gonna be me
Like,
and Connor.
the spark is back.
Okay, continue.
but what was I saying?
Oh my God, our weekly shit is like 3 things of just us like
Salt, and Euphoria. I'm sorry.
But yeah,
Dustin's like, fuck you guys.
screw you. Episode 8 is probably my single of Hibeki Euphonium. It's
I think
probably
I've
my
seen clips of that.
You've most definitely seen
And I
clips
think
of
I
that.
know exactly
I've
what
watched
just
demo videos, so I've also probably
You've
seen clips
probably
of that.
seen clips of that. That's not the episode Budget Smiles from.
Okay.
Budget Smiles from a different episode, but it's probably
Budget
my single
Smile.
It's
favorite.
the...
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
it's black-haired girl Reina.
I thought that was an actual song's name. I'm like, wow, that's on the nose.
With like all the fancy lighting going on behind her, and she just looks down, runs her hands through her hair, like looks up and smiles, and it's just like gorgeously animated. But you can tell like all the budget.
Zoom in
is
on
there.
the lips.
Actually,
Hair
interesting
brush.
fact: Kyoto Animation doesn't really have that much bigger of a budget than any other studio does.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Same as Madhouse.
Yeah, I could
And
talk
they just
for a
can
long
allocate
time
their
about
money
that.
better.
Yeah, well, actually, it's kind
And
of.
then their
I'm not going to
COD.
talk about this. I could talk about this for way too long.
Who spent all their money on boobs that aren't the main characters. I'm sorry.
Yeah, oh my God. Dude, keep going. Like, literally, Connor is just gonna keep going.
He's about to explode here. Yeah, Hibeki's great. I don't know. I really like it. For me personally, I really like the main character, Kumiko, because she's not obnoxiously... She's not as outright lazy as the character I'll talk about when I get to my number 1 slot, but she's definitely kind of just lazy and unmotivated at the start of the show, and it's
then
just kind of a slow, gradual change to her actually getting motivated, and it's not... The whole show isn't about that, which is my number 1 is. But, I don't know. There's a reason these two are my number 1 and 2. I really like Hibiki.
You really like
Kyoto I really like Kyoto Animation. I specifically I'm very betrayed this season by Phantom World. Honestly, I'm ready to cry.
I keep looking shit up and no one's complaining, but I think that's just people who like.
I think what happened is everybody in the beginning, everybody who would complain about the show and should complain about the show, stopped watching. So the first couple episodes, everyone was like, Kyoto Animation, what are you doing? You could be making such good stuff. You're coming out with second season of Hibiki soon. We're all really excited for that.
We hate to see you act
so stupid. Why did you... Because I realized this the other day.
Oh god, we ignited this one.
I know. As far as...
Well, I mean, it's like, when you really like someone, you don't want to see them start acting like a shit and just getting worse and worse over time. And that's why I hate part 3.
Back to another long debate.
I was gonna go with anime is just softcore porn.
But
poor Joseph.
I know. I think this is, as far as I can tell, in recent history, this is. I mean, I haven't watched enough Phantom World to know this for sure, but it seems like this is the first true harem. That they've animated in a long, long time. Like, if you go back to Haruhi's... It's as much as Kyon kind of has a harem, it's not a harem anime. Like, it's very much him and Haruhi.
Which is bullshit.
What about
Haru and Chika?
But that's just the... window, right? Haruka and Chika is a fusion of my number 1 and 2 animes and done really badly.
Apparently you're wrong by everyone who's watching it.
Yeah, screw them. I'll watch it at some point so I can prove them wrong.
Rewatch the Rubik's Cube episode.
Yeah, I know.
Oh god.
That was god awful.
Let's not reignite that.
Every time Kyoto Animation does a show, and most of the time, I'm probably wrong on this, I'm probably missing something, but it's extremely rare for them to do a true harem. Like, pretty much every time they do a show, there's a definite main love interest, even if there's side love interests. It's always a focus on one. Like, Beyond the Boundary, Kyoka no Kanata, the main 2 characters are pretty much going to be together. Hyoka, you have the obvious the pairing of Ureki and Chitanda. And, the list goes on, basically. This is the first, like, true harem they've done, as far as I can tell. That's mostly based on that and other things. And
so do people refer to them as flute girl or clarinet girl?
What?
What? Oh, are we talking about euphonium now?
No,
I was 5 minutes ago.
I was talking about the problems with Phantom World.
Phantom World? Oh, I thought you were saying euphonium has the actual harem.
No, God, no.
I was like, do people refer to like oboe girl as best girl or something?
No, there are actually a lot of nicknames for people, but yeah, I was talking about how, as far as I can tell, and as far as I remember, Phantom World is the only like true harem show I've seen.
We just got to an awful episode in Phantom World and stopped watching.
Yeah,
the karate episode.
It physically.
So
pained
my
me.
number 2.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's get my mind off Phantom
episode
World.
Was so bullshit.
So, my number 2 is this other poster that's now sitting to my right that I had to pull out of under my bed.
I gotta ask, how did they make that? That's a really nice looking, like realistic kind of hand.
For everyone that can't see,
I think Edward's automail hand, kind of broken, reaching up towards the Philosopher's Stone, similar to the hand raising up to God. Symbolism and shit.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it looks more like it's resting on the ground, though.
Yeah. But anyway.
I think that's supposed to be a wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah. But, so my number 2 anime, and, if Dawson takes Non-Non-Buri and somehow feels nostalgic from watching it, I take Fullmetal Alchemist, and I actually legitimately feel nostalgic for it. Because Fullmetal Alchemist is my first anime I've ever watched.
Yeah.
And it's an anime that I, like, when I was younger, I never watched to completion. And then I actually grew up and was like, wait, I never finished Fullmetal to completion. And went, why didn't I finish Fullmetal to completion after I finished that? And it's an anime that you two have not seen, and I'm just sitting there like twiddling my thumbs the day you just decide to open it up and just watch through it, because it's like, and like understand why people really like it and stuff like that. And when I mean Fullmetal Alchemist, I mean both Fullmetal Alchemist and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah.
If you talked to me during high school, I would have lambasted, I would have cursed and raged at how stupid Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood was.
I love how much of a fanboy you are, Andrew. It's great.
I would have gotten
It's a consistent thing.
I almost made a YouTube video when I was in high school about
Thank
how
God you
pissed
didn't.
how pissed I was at Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I made a list.
It's alright, Dustin. It would be deleted by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Just
deleted
like
the other
the
one.
King's Quest
Press
review.
Andrew's King's Quest
No
review.
one will ever find that. But understandably, that Fullmetal
If we
Alchemist-
ever find that, Andrew, again, for some reason, it's going on this
Oh yeah,
channel.
next time we come to your house, I'm looking in your computer, like your camcorder and shit.
Being like, Andrew.
No, dude, it's on the channel still on private.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
So we need to sneak in, like,
And
Mission
find-
Impossible
no,
style?
No, you have to find
Find it.
which fake email it is on.
Yeah,
there.
he. This is a different account. He has all
I
this
know,
stuff
I know,
under.
I know.
I have
That's
5
why we
emails.
really-
He never logs into this account.
I have 5 emails.
So we can't use it. The keylogger has been ruled out.
Yeah.
And
We have to find another
No,
method.
here's the thing. I don't even remember the password anymore either.
We just need the email.
I don't even know which email it is. So anyway, but Fullmetal Alchemist is the original one as I watched when I was a kid, watching middle school, watched it millions of times, love it. It's and the best way I could explain it is that you have to go Fullmetal Alchemist and Brotherhood because you can't go back. You can
Once
never
you watch Brotherhood, you can't
go
watch.
back. Because there are just expectations that you will have that are just ruined because in Brotherhood the pacing is fast. It's on the go, it's constantly moving. While the original, since they were so backed up, like Brotherhood gets to an episode 12.
Yeah.
Where it's the main splitting point of the two animes. It's on episode 12 and it's called the Warehouse 5. But in the original Fullmetal Alchemist, they don't get to Warehouse 5 until episode 25, 26. And when they get to Warehouse 5, the anime's divergent split from there. But the best way I could explain it is that you watch both of them, and then you basically watch Fullmetal Alchemist, you put it in your head, and you like after you finish it, put it in your head, put it in a separate folder named Fullmetal Alchemist, and then you create a new folder called Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And then you take what you knew from those characters from those first 25 episodes, know who they are, know their characterizations, know what their whole tics are. Take that information, put it in that folder, and then start watching Brotherhood, and you get this, what I feel is the more complete story of, like, let's just say diverging timelines.
Yeah.
You in VLR sense of, like, different outcomes of the story, but you get the personalities of both.
Yeah.
And the thing that I really liked about the original is that it focuses on the characters a lot heavier, where the relationship between Ed and Al is focused on mainly of this relationship between these two brothers, where when you get to Conqueror of Shambhala, it's about those two brothers.
Yeah.
And you see it's the relationship. Like, the whole thing is that at the end of the original anime, something happens, and when I watched it with Thomas for the first time, Thomas looked at me and was like, "That's all? That's it? That's the end?" I'm like, "There's a movie, but yeah, that's the end." He goes, "That's bullshit."
Yeah.
And it's because when you see it, it's like, it's a very frustrating ending in a way.
So, like Berserk.
Yeah. I don't know where the coin is.
The coins, we dropped the coin too many times.
But the way and they focus on the characterization of the homunculus, where in Brotherhood the homunculus are just things that were created from the actual sins.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just they're kind of one-note characters of, they revolve around the sin that is their name. But in the original, each homunculus has a backstory, the reason for the creation, how they came about, feelings, personalities, and stuff like that, that is not explained, that is not in Brotherhood. In Brotherhood, you get more of the military personnel, and you get characterization for each military personnel. And that's the main difference, is that you get different characterizations, but they create a fuller character by taking the best of both and making a complete picture. And that's why I put those side by side.
Yeah.
And when I say I would have ranted and raved, is because literally, because of the way that their Brotherhood worked, is that they had to go fast paced, and they go, everyone's already seen they've already seen this before.
Yeah.
Let's just speed through these episodes and just, like, there's a character where their arc apparently is just a side story that is shown in the original.
Yeah.
But he's a main character that comes about he's one of the main side characters that comes out in Brotherhood.
Okay.
But you never get his story in Brotherhood.
Yeah.
You get it in the original, but not Brotherhood. And it's one of those things where I think it creates this full picture, and it's amazing. And you would understand why people would say, number one. And
Yeah.
this is where my list is very like, what do people like of anime? These are the things that is in anime. Oh look, my top 5, at least 3 out of 5 is on that list.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm, I'm just following what
generic
everyone else
anime
said.
watcher number 3.
It's I watched all of these by myself and then went to the internet and goes, oh, everyone actually do like these.
Everyone
anime.
also likes
Yeah.
these.
So, Fullmetal Alchemist, great anime. It's it's one of the better gateway animes, and like it's even amazing storytelling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of how you were like saying, okay, everyone likes this, and I'm kind of on that list too. My second favorite anime of all time is Cowboy Bebop.
It's past quite hours.
Just kidding, it's Space Dandy. Because
we have one friend who thinks Cowboy Bebop isn't very good. In case you can't tell.
Anyways, so Space Dandy is like this really interesting thing made by the creator of Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. And it's totally... is it Machiko? Yeah. And it's totally different from any of those shows in that it's like... Sorry. I'm really sorry, I had to.
Mario's really confused right now.
Anyways, so yeah, Space Dandy is like very different in that they have this really good like animation team and this really good writer.
Bones did it, right?
Yeah, and then they bring in guest directors and they kind of do their own like miniature episode, and like it's like almost every episode has like this crazy chaotic world of like stuff you just wouldn't see. You don't expect this to happen, but it has like its own logic to everything. And of course there's like some really good episodes and some really episodes, but it's always interesting, and you're always just looking at your screen like, what the fuck is happening here? I can get what's going on the whole time, don't get me wrong, but it's always different. Like there's sort of spoiling it here, there's a zombie episode. And you know how the usual zombie aspect is like, oh shit, like their zombies swap up and we have to go through, and it's like one person getting picked off one after another and the team turning against each other.
Yeah.
And Space Dandy, it's the first half of the show, they all die and get turned into zombies, and the rest of the show is living out their daily lives as zombies. And it's like the zombies get up every morning to brush their teeth. Then they eat like Greek yogurt to keep their bones and flesh healthy. And it's just like, it shows... the world declining into a zombie world, and it's like, oh, there's businesses that like all the zombies are taking out life insurance claims, so there's businesses that are hiring assassins to actually get rid of the zombies and stuff like that. And it's just the entire world's perspective changing as everyone becomes zombies, and that's one of the episodes, and it's always some weird shit like that. And there's like a Miyazaki tier episode where he like takes this little girl on a journey, like it's like a a generic OVA, really mystical anime kind of thing. There's a High School Musical parody. There's a 50 centimeters per second parody.
5.
I'm sorry, I really can't figure that one out. I always think it's the other one.
It's 5 centimeters per second.
I'm sorry. 50 millimeters per second, whatever. And
Connor,
yeah.
how could you not know the speed at which cherry blossoms fall? No, nobody actually
50
knows
millimeters
that.
per second.
I get what you're saying there, Connor.
I understand, but...
I will throw you out that
0.05 meters per second, guys.
Shout out to also one of my favorite anime things.
Yeah.
5 centimeters per second. It's great. It's sad.
Also watch Space Dandy dubbed. Also, there's a character who literally looks exactly like Space Dandy in Redline, which is another one of my favorite anime movies.
So...
yeah, Space Dandy's pretty fucking great.
Sweet G.
And now we're on our number one. One.
One all the way around.
So, Dawson, you go
I'm
first.
starting out here.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of, I guess, spoiled this, if you can be spoiled on it, when I was talking about Hibeki, but...
Can I just state this little anecdote that happened last night, okay? I think it was last night or the other night.
Okay.
Connor just goes, hey, what's Dawson's favorite anime? And he goes, I was like, Hayoka. And he goes, wait, now which anime is the one about the really lazy guy? And I just go, Hayoka.
I didn't believe him.
And he was like, no.
I could have swore you had a different one.
And he was like, wait,
sure
what's
about
that?
that?
Because I promised, like, there was times when you go, you're never watching Hayoka. But you showed us Hayoka twice.
I showed you one episode of
I know,
Hayoka
but I
once.
thought, like, you weren't showing us any. Like, it was just this mysterious anime that I really wanted to know the plot to.
No.
And then I was like, no,
that is
Hayoka. And I was like, no, that's Hayoka. And you're like, wait, what?
See, that's the trick, Connor.
And you were like, wow, that
You'll
anime
never
is really
suspect.
boring. I would hate that anime.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I said I wouldn't be able to get through it because remember when we were conspiring against you, we were both gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And then if we liked it, we weren't gonna talk about it.
Exactly. I don't think you'd finish it.
Yeah.
I'd finish it.
Yeah, I'm
I'd probably
pretty sure
not
you'd
like
make
it as
it
much.
through. Yeah. Hyoka's the anime I've... speaking of things that we've rewatched, I've rewatched Hyoka more than any other anime.
Wow, this is gonna be an awkward conversation with Christine after this.
Why?
Because she's usually talking about how we're always yelling in the room, and I just opened the door and yelled out
And
into the common
actually
area.
yelled.
I'm sorry.
It's
It wasn't worth the joke. It wasn't worth the joke.
Continue, Dawson.
But Hyoka is my favorite anime of all time. Probably my second favorite OST of all time. To talk about music again, it's extremely simplistic and minimalistic the whole way through. There's a couple tracks in there that sound like Shoji Meguro had his hand in making them, which he didn't. I'm pretty sure. I'd be really surprised if he did.
Why would you bring that up?
What?
There's this guy who sounds like he made it, but he didn't. I was like, okay.
I mean, he's a pretty well-known...
Alright.
I mean, he did all the music for all the Persona games.
Okay.
That's
Sure.
in case you didn't know who I'm talking about. Shoji Meguro does the music for Persona. Okay. There's a couple tracks that sound like that. Overall, I think it's a really solid OST. And it's really beautiful and it really fits the show. The animation is like god tier. All the background shots are pretty much spotless. The animation the whole way through, spotless. Like, you can pick out one or two bad frames throughout the entire show. It looks great. There's an extreme attention to detail, period, but also in regards to lighting. Like, throughout the entire show, lighting plays a huge role in... I don't know how I'm going to say this.
Lighting's pretty
Basically, when the show starts, it's the main character, Oreki, whose motto is, if I don't have to do something, I won't do it, and if I have to do it, make it quick. And he gives this, like, short, somewhat long, I don't know, depends on what you call short and long, monologue about a rose-colored life versus a gray high school life, and his opinion on that, and the fact that he lives a more gray life. And also, I mean, they go throughout the show, it's not like, oh, I'm so sad and depressed, I live a gray life. It's like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, he doesn't like doing things, and he's rather unmotivated. So he doesn't. So it's not, like, any edgy in that way.
So it's not like 8-Man?
Yeah, he's not as jaded as 8-Man. Like,
8-Man is very
8-Man is extremely...
It's very reasonable.
Okay, there's 3 MCs that get compared a lot, and should be compared a lot. That's Kyon from Haruhi, 8-Man from Origaru, and Oreki from Hyoka. And all 3 are very similar and very different. And I think...
8-Man's just really jaded.
8-Man is extremely jaded and snarky.
He's so reasonable.
Okay. That's the I think that's part of the point of the
He's
show,
a bit
though,
of
is
a
it's not...
romanticized jaded. Like, he's not like an actual jaded person would add so much.
Yeah, I mean, a large part of the show deals with the fact that his ideals aren't actually... I'm talking about 8-Man right now. His ideals aren't quite as ideal as he thinks they are. I don't know.
Stop sacrificing yourself, man.
I know. We're talking... But yeah, those 3... they're also 3 of my favorite MCs of all time.
Kyon is the guy who just pretends to not care, but actually really cares.
Kyon's just... He's like... vaguely tsundere.
Yeah.
I really like male tsunderes.
Yeah, he's
I
really good. You're
really
right.
like male
Yeah, you're
tsunderes.
right. Oh, look
Like,
at all this
Kion's
crazy
one of
shit.
them, or Reki's
stop.
a bit of one.
No, stop. This crazy shit. Stop it. No, stop
Yeah.
it. No. Oh, hey, crazy shit.
Hey,
Stop.
where'd you go? I want to tell you to stop. Yeah, they're 3 great MCs, 3 of my
Jotaro,
favorites.
Kundere, or Tsundere? Kundere.
Yeah, he's pretty Kundere. I haven't even seen the show, and I'm pretty sure he's
But he
Kundere.
cares for his friends and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Kunderes aren't...
He fights for his friends.
Kunderes aren't, like, inherently
Doing a very good
unfeeling.
I'm sorry.
One second. I just have to say this. Did you know that the photo they took in Stardust Crusaders did not happen in the manga, and the only reason why they added it in the manga is because he has that photo in part 5, and Eriki decided to retroactively add that photo into the anime.
Oh, just like he retroactively saved Dio.
So anyway, continue.
There was a second coffin.
Seriously, they had a coffin, and they got rid of that coffin.
So continue, Dawson.
But, yeah. Hyoka is an extremely relaxed slice-of-life show based around 4 main characters that are in the Classics Club together. And Oreki is very lazy, but also decently smart, and he solves inconsequential mysteries throughout the whole show. Is pretty much what it comes down to. And, I don't know, I think, personally, I find the mysteries interesting. A lot of people don't. A lot of people...
Like Connor.
A lot of people's main problem with Hyoka...
Are you...
Connor is...
Are you seriously going to keep throwing me under the bus here?
Yeah.
But
I'm
Connor's
trying to
more
not
than
say
just
anything.
Connor. Connor's currently representing a larger group of people.
Yeah. Like Connor.
And Christine. No, sorry.
And, okay, I mean, this is another show I wouldn't... I'm
It's
also
slow.
It's
I'm very
crawl.
defensive of Hyoka. Whereas, like, other shows I like, I'll be like, yeah, you should watch this. Like, FLCL...
No.
I will tell anyone to watch
you will
it.
not
Monogatari
allow us
series,
to watch it.
I will tell anyone to watch it.
You
Gekon,
will-
anyone to watch it. I will not let you guys watch Hyoka.
We will watch
It's alright.
Hyoka without telling
It's okay,
you.
Dawson. I'm worse than you. I will make everyone read Berserk and still defend it to the death.
See, that's the thing. I can defend Hyoka to the death,
He just doesn't want to.
and exactly.
Because he knows it's flawed.
I don't. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Every flaw with Hyoka is purely subjective.
I know.
Okay, I know.
Like the only the only 2 flaws I can think of with the show that people would have a problem with is 1, the mysteries are too small and uninteresting, and 2, the show's pacing is too slow. And I think both of those come down to personal taste.
Yeah.
And as long as you are okay with those 2 facts, the show is goddamn amazing.
And there you go, have it, guys. Dawson's #1 anime is Hyoka.
Hyoka is the shit.
Now moving on.
And moving on, yes.
If not, we're gonna be here till 2 in the
Man,
morning.
we all have the most predictable number 1s, I swear.
I know, right?
I'm pretty sure it's because we've
I don't know.
all
I
talked
did
about-
not think I would put this as my number 1.
Oh,
No, you...
Take your guesses.
I feel ashamed of myself.
Take your guesses.
I, honest to God, feel
so,
ashamed of
my
myself.
my #1 is Oh wait, no, I don't have a poster to represent my #1 because for some reason I can't find one.
RIP
Actually,
Andrew's hopes and dreams.
Our closest one is my Tokyo Dark poster because it's.
Fuck, my phone died. I was gonna play this song.
So as you can see to my right, there's Chie Satana. I mean, my Tokyo Dark posters, which is I think the reason why I decided to fund it so much is because that's this. I got posters
Why don't you have a poster?
because I haven't found one.
You know, we were gonna get you a figure, but Thomas found you a better gift, and we're still working on that.
But anyway, as you can see, the main character of Tokyo Dark wears the very similar outfit to Makise Kurisu from Steins Gate, my #1 anime, which apparently is everyone's #1 anime, and I feel super, like, I didn't mean to like the best anime
It's okay.
ever.
I think that phase is over.
Okay.
Andrew's lived with hipsters so long that when other people like what he likes, he starts burning a little on the side.
No, but it was like
He gets like a rash
because
up his neck.
because it's so like
Honestly,
I didn't,
the problem that was yours has now burdened
Connor, yeah, and mine's gone. Mine's
No,
gone.
you know why.
I know why.
No, but here's the thing with Steins Gate, it didn't have the memes, the dank memes. Anyway,
That's true.
But
There weren't
Steins
as
Gate
many
is my
Steins Gate
personal
memes.
#1 favorite, and it's one of those animes where
It's still really big, but
oh god, I hate. So I watched all of it without even knowing how big it was. Like I literally, it was on my. I think what happened was I turned on Psycho Pass. I watched the first episode of Psycho Pass and went, okay, Psycho Pass is on my list. Let me watch Psycho Pass. Watch the first episode, closed it, opened up Steins Gate, and started watching all of that. And so I proceeded to watch all of Steins Gate in almost the span of one whole day, and I did. And, and after I watched it, it was not a really good time in my life equivalence. If Dawson, you were actually there for that moment, Dawson.
Yeah.
If you remember, it was when I actually had the car and we drove around for a while.
Yeah.
And I don't think watching that anime helped.
I can't imagine it wouldn't.
Helped that whole situation anymore. It probably helped me to be a little bit more proactive about it.
Yeah.
So I really, really, really like Steins Gate, and it has to do with a lot of my things that I like. I love pseudo harems in a way. I love that the fact that there's possibly a harem, but not that it is a harem.
The fact it's possibly a harem, but there's still a main girl.
There's only 2 girls that like.
No, every girl in that show likes him.
I don't really consider the cat girl or the time traveler. Actually, and the other ones likes him but isn't a girl.
But so I would consider all of that. I love time travel. I love waxing poetics. VLR is like my top 5 games of all time. Mm-hmm. How would I not like this? Like, how would I not like this? And it's just one of the most enjoyable things that I've watched. And like it speaks to me personally in a way where like there are lines in there that I was like, yeah.
I feel that.
I feel exactly what you're feeling. And I got really intense with it. And I can't wait to do my rewatch of that this week. Just watch it from episode 1 and just flow through that whole entire show. And just I can't wait to show another person Steins Gate. Because I showed it all to Connor and he enjoyed it. You'll watch it eventually.
Yeah.
Steins Gate was really good.
Yeah, it's really good. 10 out of 10.
Steins Gate and Full Metal are on my list of animes that I probably should watch, but I don't want my opinion of them to be tainted by how much everybody likes them.
And that's the thing where it's like I really like. That's the thing where I came at it where I didn't realize everybody liked it. Like when I watched Full Alchemist, I didn't realize it was a big thing. It was just something my brother showed me when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, this is great. And I just proceeded to watch all of them. Like, oh man, it's actually really good.
Yeah.
And Steins Gate is another case like that. I literally just went, what do people think is good animes? And I just wrote it all down, and I just started watching all of them.
Yeah.
Granted, there's a different timeline where I decided to watch Psychopaths instead of Steins Gate. Who knows what happened with that timeline?
We don't know.
And Connor is now his number 1.
The middle of this anime is not that good.
As Connor is sitting here in shame as his number 1 choice.
Okay, have you ever had something that you really like, but people just ruined it for you?
I mean...
That being said, my favorite anime is One Punch Man. Like, oh my god. This anime started at an 8 for me. Like, I was done with this. I was like, you know what? 8 out of 10. Pretty damn good. I rewatched the Boros fight about 6 times. No exaggeration. Like,
still doesn't peak how many times I've seen Steins Gate.
I know, but I don't rewatch things, and you know this.
Yeah, it's really rare for Connor to rewatch anything.
Like, okay, it's just because this was so close to me, and every time I think about this anime, I think about the manga and the webcomic. And you know how with you it's like, oh, comparatively it's worse, that makes it worse?
Oh, yeah.
With me it's like they carry it up even more because I know what it's connected to and I can't wait for more. Like
see that's that's such a weird thing because I look at Negima and I look at that anime and I go like 4 out of 10.
Okay, there's a bit of a difference there. One Punch is a pretty solid adaptation. Like the only complaint I've heard about One Punch.
And Negima was a solid adaptation too. They didn't
Screw
change
that,
anything.
no.
Except
I don't
for the
agree with
ending.
that.
Except for the ending, they didn't change anything.
I still don't agree with that. I think a solid adaptation has more to do with just adapting it.
One Punch. Also, the opening, Jesus Christ, that hooked me so hard. Like when we originally saw like the what's it called? The PV for it, and we just heard this kind of generic, the "Don't Lose Your Way" background song.
But that's what I liked.
I was like, no, I was just like, this just sounds like a generic, like, symphony in the background. I'm like, it's okay. I mean, that's kind of the best you can expect for it. It's just a decent song. And then they put on one of the hypest openings of all time, and I lost my shit. I was incredibly excited for this show. Like, they took stuff and they brought it to levels it didn't need to go with well animated scenes. And like I showed all my friends. I had to. I was like, you need to watch this now.
That's the equivalence of me and Dawson next quarter, where we're just gonna be like, yo,
Guys, my
Hero
hero.
Academia, sit your ass down.
Watch this shit.
And then
Watch as Deku punches that thing with one arm.
and I was going on 4chan and everyone was talking about it and they're like, oh man, it's ruining the threads and stuff. I was like, it's expected. And, like, it's it's a sign in and a lot of people like how like kind of despite being dark, it's like a lot of fun kind of thing. This is okay. This is fine. And then you go on Facebook and there's these motherfuckers with all these stupid ass
Wow,
9-gag tier memes.
we shouldn't have
Fuck
let
that
Connor
shit.
go that fast.
Fuck that 9-gag.
We didn't realize.
Oh, who would win in a fight? Bullshit. Seriously. And fuck all the people who are just trying to cash in with like these cheaply animated videos.
Connor's new
Fuck
speed
that
grapper
shit.
power is to turn into salt.
I wish we all had our own personal microphones, and then I just lowered Connor's one.
You just hear it like fade.
Seriously, imagine your favorite like anime getting that treatment. Imagine
Yeah.
if people wouldn't stop fucking like posting about Steins Gate on Facebook. Right
Yeah,
under
no.
right under shit talking Donald Trump and then shit talking Obama.
No.
There's who's a cooler or who's a hotter guy? The
Yo,
main character of
Okay.
Steins Gate.
Okay,
or the
Connor.
main what?
My favorite anime is Pretty Tumblr. Like, not Pretty Tumblr as in It's Pretty Tumblr.
Yeah, but if
But-
you don't go to Tumblr, that's fine.
That's true.
No. Yours
But
is
like,
Facebook.
there's so many ships
No, you
with
have to-
characters
you have to
outside.
But
You
here's
have to
the here's the
understand-
thing:
Connor.
you actually meet people
you
that
don't-
you know from Facebook.
No, you have to understand this. Yours is Facebook. His is Tumblr. Mine is Reddit.
Yeah.
But with Facebook, it's only people you know. And so you figure out that you hate these people.
You're like, fuck.
or you really enjoy talking to these people in real life, so it hurts you even more.
Okay. So that's our top 5, everyone.
Yeah.
I hate it just because
The previous message is subject to change as time.
Yeah.
I love how I didn't even
forward.
talk about the show because we already have talked about it so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
talked about one
we
Punch
talk
Man.
about it on like a bi-weekly basis.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, bi-weekly? Yeah, bi-weekly. Bi-weekly is every 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Every other week. Yeah, we talk about it like a bi-weekly
Sorry,
basis.
I didn't think I would get that mad.
Sometimes it just channels.
So now that we're done with that section, now everyone knows I'm gonna have to put timestamps on this. I'm glad I'm going to spring break and gonna be editing this video because I didn't even write timestamps.
Dude, Thomas is not going to get in for another hour. We have to talk about Erased.
Yo, dude, it's gonna be 2 o'clock in 20 minutes.
You mean 1 o'clock?
Nope, time skip at 2.
Fuck!
Time skip at 1.
So
My night just got a whole lot worse.
you're talking to me. I have a lot before that stuff to finish, but
I just have to study,
so
so I mean.
okay, moving on.